Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. This morning I'm going to talk about and then create a buffer zone. Just what the heck is a buffer zone, you may ask? Well, this right here is kind of a buffer zone. What it is an area around your buildings that you can burn up to, and then the fire is not going to continue up to your building. In most cases, that's just your lawn. But in our case, we're planting native grasses. So what we need to do is the areas that are closest to the house, like this right here, this is going to remain a cut trail like this. So this is already good. But this area right here, if we have 10-foot tall grasses growing here, like big blue stem, and that catches fire, well, it's going to catch fire because we're going to light it on fire. A fire from that could easily reach the house. So what we need is a buffer zone of shorter grasses. This is doing the job right now. This is perennial rye, but this is not a native grass. What we want to do is replace this probably for 20 feet, replace this with buffalo grass and or blue Gramma. We might put some other stuff in there too, but those two are definitely going there. I have a good sized bag of blue Gramma, but it's actually only enough for 1,000 square feet. The barn really needs a buffer zone, so I'm going to clear an area around the barn today and then kill that with glyphosate. You actually have to do that several times, and the blue Gramma does not get planted now for almost 2 months. It gets planted near the end of June. So I'm going to start right now. We're at the end of April. I'm going to trim that real short where it's going to be killed, and then I'm going to spray that with glyphosate. Then as stuff pops up, I'll kill it back again. They say to do that like 3 times on my buffalo grass over here and the buffalo grass here. I killed it back 2 or 3 times, and then after I planted, the buffalo grass came up, and then the entire place was solid foxtail. I'm going to stop that from happening this year with mesotrione, but the buffalo grass made it through that anyway, so the buffalo grass is fine. I think the blue Gramma will do pretty much the same, but that entire area is just a mass of yellow foxtail. So at some point, the foxtail is going to grow up, and if I don't get in there and trim it down short, it's going to take over like it did here. Hopefully I have enough time this year to tend to it. I really didn't last year. I was trying to get this stuff all done by the end of the year. I put that siding on the back, the siding on the addition, put the door in, all that stuff. And worked on the interior in there. All right, let's go up there and I'll show you what I'm going to be doing. Before we leave this area, the only reason there's just buffalo grass right there and not throughout here, we still have dirt that needs to go all the way around this, and there's going to be a trench going right through here to the back area there. This is all going to be dug up again. This is not. So this is a work in progress. This is just a nurse grass until we can get to it. All right, let's go look at that barn. Okay, you can see what I'm talking about. This tall foxtail. Foxtail gets about 4 feet tall. You could see some of it right there. That's actually about 5 feet tall. And then it mats down like this, and it still has all of the seed heads on it. The seeds are gone, but the seed heads are still there. And those are incredibly flammable. So what I got to do is rake all this stuff out. I'll probably rake it into a pile and burn it. And then I'm going to kill back all the way up to where our road's going and plant this whole area with blue Gramma. Blue Gramma only gets about 6 to 8 inches tall, and it'll be a lot easier to manage when I go to burn. I burned this last year, but you could see how out of hand this is. This would just make a big blaze, and at some point we're going to end up lighting our barn on fire, and we don't want that. Yeah, this is going to take a lot of work, but let's get at it. This is the blue Gramma seed. Kind of a nice fluffy seed like most of the prairie grasses. I got to get this back in the house in a nice cool place until it's time to plant. I just brought this out to show. I got fresh gas in town yesterday. Now I just need the brush whacker and we'll get to it. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for today. I will get back at this tomorrow. At that time, I got everything raked away from the barn here. I'm going to hook up a hose and get the side of the barn wet, and I'm going to burn it from right here out that way. I did this last year as well, but there's just way more of this foxtail this year. So once this is all completely burned out, I have to do it kind of careful. I don't want the stuff over there to catch on fire. It's pretty dry, but it's way too windy today for that, so we'll wait till tomorrow and be safe. So once this is burned, I got a little bit of detailing to do in this back garden. This was once a really beautiful area. It's kind of beautiful now, but we had our outdoor shower right here, and that finally rotted out after 10 years, and I took it down. I believe it was the first year of the channel. I'll link to that. That was a really nice shower. We're going to build another outdoor shower, but I don't know if I can get at it this year. We already have the year pretty well planned up. I guess it all depends on if we build that building back here. If we do build the building, a big chunk of this hill right here is going to be dozed back and level this area out. And the building will come back and end right in there somewhere. And I'm hoping I can get the greenhouse set up against the building in the back there. And then there'll be a garage door with a small road that runs right through here and right up between them two trees there. So this patch that I'm doing will eventually be from the road to the barn, and it'll be real easy to burn it. The blue Gramma is a warm season grass, so it is something that you want to burn every once in a while, but it'll be a lot easier to do with blue Gramma. Right up to the barn, I'm going to plant the same stuff as the nurse grass, that real nice green stuff, so this should be really protected from fire. All right, I'll see you tomorrow when the wind stops and we'll get this burned. All right, it's day 2 here. I was hoping to have this burned by now. It's already 2:30 in the afternoon, and it's still way too windy. On the forecast, they showed like this big peak with it at 14 miles an hour at like 8 this morning, and by 8 o'clock this evening being down to almost nothing, and then actually switching directions. Right now it's coming out of the northwest, and by 8 this evening it's supposed to be coming out of the southeast. It kind of feels like it's switching right now because it was just coming right around the corner here. I don't know what the heck it's going to do, but I think what I'm going to do is take the trimmer and go along the edge and kind of make a fire break for this whole top area, make it maybe 3 feet wide. Then I'll grab one of the really long hoses and go along that fire break and get it nice and wet. And then I'll start a fire coming from the barn out towards that, and probably start a fire along the edge of that towards the middle and have the fires meet in the middle. That's kind of my plan. I'm going to have to play it by ear though, because it's all based on the wind. If it's too windy, I can't burn. All right, I'm going to go get my trimmer and make that fire break right away, and then we'll dig out a hose. Okay, the wind has gone down. I have my hose hooked up. I have my fire flap right there. I have my lighter. I'm going to go along my trail that I just cut and wet it again. I've already went around it. I went and got the barn wet, and then I came around and really wetted this up all the way up to the rock, and then I wetted where it's needed on the other side. What I'm going to do is come back around and wet it one more time, come all the way down to here. Then I'm going to move the hose completely out of this area over that way, get the barn nice and wet, and then I'm going to come and light it over here. It's going to burn into the wind, which will make it burn real nice and slow. Then I'll work my way along the path here with my mud flap in hand, the fire swatter, and anything that tries to go that way, I'll put out. And then as it burns inwards, that'll stop happening. I'll go over to where I have my hose, and I'll wet the barn down again, and then I'll light this stuff along here, and then the flames should meet in the middle. It's a pretty good plan. I did something like that last time, except without the watering. The watering's just going to make sure that nothing lights this way. And it's pretty green back there, so there's not too much of a worry about that. All right, got a good plan. And that hose is 250 feet long. So if need be, I can get out here and put something out over this way, but I don't think I'll need to. All right, kitty, you ready for this? Let's get burning. Okay, there's our start. Fire breaks right here. Just got to make sure that it's going to be going out as it hits the fire break. This is the only spot. It's probably going to burn up to right over there, and then I'll have to go put that out. Well, being downwind of this is not helping either. See, it burns nice and slow into the wind, which is why you gotta light it on the side that is away from the direction of the wind. That tree will probably light on fire. It's been dead for a while now. Yeah, you can see it naturally wants to go out when it hits this wet stuff, but it will eventually dry it out and burn, so I'm going to use the mud flap as well. Once it gets past this area right here by the rock, there's a lot of grass around this rock, and this is going to blaze up in a little while. I just got to make sure that it doesn't go around the rock. There's not a whole lot over that way, but still, I got to make sure it's out. This way, it's going to travel real slow because the wind's coming from that direction. There's a whole lot more fuel over that way. I go put this torch down. Don't look like I'm gonna need it. See, I can put this stuff out at any time, but I'd kind of like this stuff right by the rock to burn. Then I'll go and light it along the edge over there. Yeah, this is burning really well so far. Actually, that stuff I just put out didn't even make it to the fire stop. Yeah, this is the part that I was worried about right here. Seems like the wind is switching directions. It is definitely switching directions. It's coming from the west now. It's supposed to switch to the south later today, but it's kind of doing it occasionally. Alright, I think I'm going to put this stuff out here and then go get the stuff lit along the fire break right here, so that's done with. Alright, starting to get into the fuel over that way. Leave my mud flap there. I'm gonna go get this lit by the barns so that they join in the middle. Now, as these two fires approach each other, it's going to make one hell of a flame, but then it's not going to have much fuel left after that, and it's not burning towards anything. Ooh, wind is picking up. Not good. But our edge is just fine. So far, so good. Yeah, there's extra fuel. That's the stuff that I raked out of the ditch here. Alright, that's good enough. It's running out of fuel right now. Alright, this is the only area, well, this is all wet down here, but this is the only area that has a fair amount of fuel left. Just keep an eye on that. And now it's hitting the wet area. Should slow down. Yeah, you can see how it stopped right at the wet area. Should do the same all the way along here. I'll probably have to do a little more burning right by the barn, and then she'll be done. Every time this gets burned after this, it's going to be much shorter grass. It's going to be buffalo grass and blue Gramma. And then the road will be right here, so it's actually going to be a much smaller area. And then the other side of the road is going to have blue Gramma and buffalo grass as well at the top part here. All right. Yeah, it's pretty much going out as soon as it hits the line of water. But I'm going to have to stay right here and make sure it's out. Yeah, another good burn. Yeah, that's going out there. This wants to crawl. Okay, I'll just put this out. Oh, actually, just let it burn for a little while. I need to get in here with the brush cutter with the saw on. Got a few little trees here. Alright, that's it. Enough of your nonsense. Alright, now I'm going to go around it and look for hot spots. These I'm just going to let burn out. Hot spots are like this, where you got a tiny little fire, but it's not smoking. You don't want that blazing up, especially with this little breeze that just came up. Yeah, that worked out perfect. Now there's no fuel on this side. I can get into this ditch and burn some of that. It's not gonna affect the barn at all. Just get the barn wet and then burn this stuff in the ditch, and that will be it. Looking real good. It's been about 10 minutes now, and this stuff in the ditch is just a little too wet, so I'm not even going to burn it. I'm going to be planting perennial rye here, like I said before, and then Gramma grass and buffalo grass out there. But first, I need to figure out where that road's going to come through here. So maybe I'll do that as well. You can see that stuff just lit back up. So I got to go around this and make sure that nothing else is going to do that. It was real thick there, and obviously right there, that's the stuff that I raked away from the trellis right there. But that stuff will be out pretty soon. So really nice burn. The next step is to get in here with glyphosate and kill anything that's growing where I'm going to be planting the Gramma grass, and do that a couple times until basically nothing is alive. Then I'll plant the blue Gramma, and hopefully I'll take care of it enough so that it doesn't get overtaken by foxtail like that other stuff did. The other stuff, the buffalo grass, is just fine, but it'll grow a lot better if I get in here and trim this. Once it gets to about 6 inches, if I trim it at that point, then the foxtail isn't going to go to seed, and we won't have this kind of a big mess next year. Hopefully I have the time to get to that, but I think I will. Okay, so if you want to see the rest of the progress on this planting of blue Gramma, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comments section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.